Hi everyone, it's Mike, the PrepperNerd, and I'm here with another video on the prep inventory system. Today we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of really cool additional features about the prep inventory system that I haven't covered yet. I think you're really going to love these features. I also have a quick but important update for you. But before we get into that, I wanted to share, like I normally do, that I've now set up 207 people with their very own prep inventory system. I think that the success so far has been due to a few things. First, shout outs from other content creators like Alaska Prepper, Pinball Preparedness, Grim Survival, TJ Preps, Rip Curl, and others. And as I've shared before, I really could not do this without you, and I really appreciate you helping me get the word out. Second, many of you are actually, I know, helping spread the word about the system. You're sharing with friends, family, coworkers, and even putting in a good word for me with other prepping channels. And I really cannot thank you enough for this. Third, I did a live stream with the Urban Prepper a couple of weeks ago, which was an awesome, amazing experience. I think Cliff is a great guy. And it was great exposure and quite a few people, like I think it was around 80 people or so, jumped right in and ordered their own prep inventory system. So it was just an awesome experience to see such a positive response. And then last, the Provident Preppers actually did a video dedicated to the prep inventory system. And that was just such a blessing to be featured on their channel, who I've learned so much from since I began prepping at the end of 2019. So if you're ready to get started with your own prep inventory system, the link is in the video description below, or you can just go to prepper-nerd.com. So the key update that I wanted to share with you today is that some of you may know that I've been faced with a really challenging decision about the prep inventory system. Smartsheet is the system or the platform that it's built on, and it's not cheap. But I do consider it to be the best tool for the job and for specifically our prep inventory system. And of course, my purpose in doing this is to help as many people in this community gain confidence in their preps and motivate them to prep in the best ways for the challenges that are ahead for really all of us. And so what this decision boils down to really is whether to move forward on an annual rate that I negotiated for the software for Smartsheet, so that I can help a lot more people, and so that it'll reduce my long-term costs, which then enables me to offer the system at such an affordable cost. So based on the number of people that have signed up and the feedback that I'm getting, I've decided to go ahead and pull the trigger on the annual subscription for Smartsheet. This was a huge investment for me, but thankfully between the donations that I've received and then of course with people signing up now that there is a sign up cost, that has covered really half the cost of that annual subscription for the platform. So the other half will have to come from my personal funds. And again, this was a really difficult decision because I don't really know necessarily where this project is going. I don't know if I'm even going to recoup my expenses, let alone be compensated for my time. The point of this, point in sharing all of this with you is that the primary reason that I made this decision is out of faith. A lot of people, including myself, talk about faith as a state of mind, like having faith that a situation is going to get better or having faith that God will provide. But I'm not sure that that's the powerful type of faith that God talks about moving mountains with. And I want the moving mountains type of faith. I'm not going to go down a spiritual rabbit hole here, but in the Bible, Noah constructed an ark, just as one example. He didn't pray and have faith that God would protect him. He acted on his faith, which is what protected him and his family. In addition, I've learned recently that there isn't even a noun form of the word faith in Hebrew. It's an action word. So in other words, and another way of looking at this is that, faith is not, believing that a chair will hold you, right? Faith is the action of actually sitting down in the chair, right? So similarly, faith is not believing that God will bless what I'm doing with this project. Faith is acting as if I already know that He is blessing this project and that He will continue to do so. I have seen His blessing in this, and that blessing comes from all of you. You may have seen a prior video of mine where I talk about this being what I call a love your neighbor project. And that's because, I wanted to obey His commandment. Not a feeling type of love, but an action type of love. And, now my faith is being tested, and I choose to act in faith. And where this goes from here, I believe, is really up to God. So that being said, I'm going to move on now to a couple of cool features in the Prep Inventory system that I haven't covered yet in another video. And the first one is about sharing. So I'm going to pull up Smartsheet here. And you can see here I'm in like the folder or the browse area of Smartsheet, and you can see I've got the dashboard here and a sample system. Got the dashboard here, got some folders. So I'm just gonna show you that this is called a workspace, by the way. Okay, everything in this folder here, this is all contained within a workspace. So what I can do is I can actually share this workspace with anybody that I want to, just using their email address. Okay, and by doing that, they will then have the permissions that I assign to them. So everybody that I set up is set up with a permission of editor can share, which allows you to add the data that you need to add, make changes, remove data, whatever, and use it within the structure that I've built for you. So, but you can also share. Everybody's set up with editor can share. So, what this is useful for is for sharing with other people in your family. For example, you might, share with your spouse, or you may have, children that have moved out, and if there was a reason to give them access to it for some reason, or extended family, or in situations especially where there's multiple households that are kind of cooperating or working together in terms of preparedness. So a great example of that is a MAG, Mutual Assistance Group. MAGs are talked about a lot in this community, and it's a really important way or strategy of being prepared. And so this system would allow you to share your prep inventory system with your MAG. So really you can just share with anybody. You can share with as many people as you want to. And you can give them an editor can share permission. You can give them an editor cannot share permission, or you can give them a viewer permission, which would allow them to log in and view your data, including the dashboard and any sheets, but they wouldn't be able to edit anything. Okay, so you can do that at the workspace level, which is where we are here, which would inherently give them access to everything in the workspace. Or if I were to go into the dashboard, and this is just a sample space that I'm using here, I could share specifically the dashboard. Okay, for dashboards, it's technically you would give them viewer access because there's really nothing to update here on the dashboard, right? This is just a visual representation of the data in these sheets. So you would give, if you wanted to provide access to somebody just to the dashboard, you would do it here. Okay. So let me just demonstrate that. You can just type in the email address here, leave that as viewer. You can either use these boxes to send them an invitation, or you can uncheck this if you want to send them a link manually. But as soon as you share it, then it'll give you this link here, the dashboard link, and you can just copy this and paste it into an email that you want to share with that person. In addition, like if I go into the sheet, just as an example, again, same thing, this blue button, this blue share button in the upper right hand corner, click that, and now I'm sharing just the sheet. So again, email, do I want them to be able to edit or just view? And if I want them to be able to edit. Can they share it or not? And same functionality, notification, a link to the sheet would be here. So you've got different options. You can share as much or as little as you want with other folks that need access to your prep inventory system. So that's the first feature I wanted to cover. The second feature, I'm just going to stay right here in the food inventory sheet, is about the transparency that Smartsheet provides to the activity history of the data. So I want to just show you what I mean by that. Any cell, each of these boxes is a cell. Okay, you've got rows, you've got columns, and you've got cells. Okay, so each cell has a history of data. So if I right click and I click View Cell History, I can see who made that update, when they made that update, and what value they entered into that cell. So just as an example, I'm going to update the value, new value. As soon as I save that, okay, now when I right click, view cell history, you can see, okay, this is the person that made the update, this is when they made the update, and this is the value that they updated the cell to, okay? And that's pretty cool, right? Because if you've got, and this goes hand in hand with sharing. If you have, people that you've shared your system with or a specific sheet with, then you've got pretty much like an audit trail of who made changes to any of the data in the sheet. You can say, oh, who added that, or just making sure that you're aware of who's making the changes and when. So another aspect of what I'm demonstrating here is over here on the right hand side, this activity log, and this activity log gives you a full audit trail, for example, of who made what changes and when, across the whole sheet. So, and this audit trail you can filter in a number of different ways, but so that's a really powerful feature, both sharing and the audit trail, so that you're aware of who's making what changes over time, especially especially in the case where you are sharing your information with other people, because obviously if you're not sharing it with anybody, then it's only going to be you making the updates. But at least, like, for example, for package quantities, right? As you use, packages of these different foods, when you right click, you'll be able to see like the history of, when certain things were used. So that might be helpful for you in certain situations. With that said, I want to thank you for watching. Please do hit the thumbs up or down to let YouTube know to show this video to more people. And subscribe and hit the bell if you'd like to make sure that you're informed of future videos. Again, if you'd like to get set up with your own prep inventory system, go to PrepperNerd.com and go ahead and sign up. There's no need for the interest list any longer. So as soon as you sign up, I can get you, you sign up and then you provide me with your preferences. I can get you set up right away. So again, this is Mike, the Prepper Nerd, and thanks for watching.